During the final stage of the Blitz Fair auctions, Wargaming pulled a bit of a gamer move on us and sold the T22 medium for a cool 17,500 gold. Now, I'll be honest, 17,500 gold for a T22 medium is honestly a steal. I really thought that if they would sell this tank in the auctions, it would start at like 37,000 gold and make its way down maybe to 17,500 on the last day. But yeah, they could have made a lot more money on this. I'll be honest, as Wargaming's accountant, that was a pretty bad move on them. They could have really made a lot more money on the T22 medium because it almost always would have sold out even if they'd made it more expensive. But with that aside, we should be thankful that it even was this cheap in the first place. I know that a lot of you got your hands on this vehicle. I mean, I remember recording my video talking about the Blitz Fair auctions, and by the time I'd finished recording my video and uploaded it to YouTube, the tank was already gone. It was gone in 15 minutes. I mean, that's actually insane. So yeah, I figured let's do a mini review on the T22. Let's talk about its strengths, its weaknesses, and why it is regarded as one of the best tier 10s that you can still get your hands on even today, about like 4 years after it's actually originally been released. Now, I will be real, the power creep has hurt this vehicle a little bit. It's not nearly as strong as it used to be. Vehicles like the E50M, the Object 907, they definitely do a pretty good stance against this vehicle, especially in tier 10 rankings. I mean, I would probably rather drive a 907 over a T22 if you told me which one I'd rather win in, but that's also because I just like driving the 907 more. I do think the T22 is still incredibly strong. So even though the power creep has hit this vehicle, it hasn't hit it in a way that really destroys what its main strengths are, which is its armor and its pretty solid gun and damage per minute. One thing I do want to point out before we do break into this mini review is how much money Wargaming made off of the T22 medium. If we pull up a calculator really quick and we drag it over here, now let's say that they sold all of them, which they did, so 5,000 T22 mediums and it's 17,500 gold. Now that 17,500 gold is 87.5 million gold that people spent in 30 minutes on this tank. If we divide that by the 37,500 gold it costs for $100, and then we multiply that by 100, Wargaming made a cool 233,000 US dollars in 30 minutes. Now, if we did this same average here, and let's say we did 100,000 multiplied by the 30 or so tanks, Wargaming probably made, no joke, around $5 million this year on the Blitz Fair. I mean, that's a lot of money, like an insane amount when you think about it. They made huge amounts of money this Blitz Fair. I mean, they sold 5,000 Draculas and Helsings for like 10,500 gold. It's actually insane how much money they make every Blitz Fair. Plus the snow globes, they probably made another couple million off of there. This game really does rake in the dough. They probably could have sold 10,000 T22 mediums easily. I mean, it's just insane how quickly these things do sell. But yeah, let's get our hands on the T22, talk about it, and break into a replay that I literally just played for my first battle in the tank, as you can see on my battle notifications. So, first thing about the T22 medium is the statistics. It carries a very nice gun. It's got an aiming time of 3.2 seconds, very good dispersion at 0.308, and a damage per minute of 3,506. Now, before I forget, I'm going to go put back on Cali. I personally do like to run calibrated shells so I can get that 330 millimeters of heat pen, which obviously lets you cut through much more frontal armor, E100 turret cheeks, Jagdpanzer E100s. So it's definitely nicer, in my opinion, to run Cali, but that's obviously my opinion, and many of you will probably run your tanks very differently. But yeah, very strong DPM, extremely comparable to vehicles like the T62A and the Object 140. Damage per shot also very comparable at 310, making it one of the lowest alphas in the game, apart from like the M6 Yo, but obviously that's not a loader, so a bit of a different story. But because it's such a low alpha, it only does have around a 5.7 second reload. If you're running Adrenaline, you can easily perma-track almost any tank in the game, so that's pretty strong there. Carries 6 degrees of gun depression, which makes it flexible on a lot of terrain. And yeah, I mean, the gun stats are pretty strong on this vehicle. When you make your way over to the mobility, unlike the 62A, this tank's actually quite fast, going at 55 kilometers per hour forward, 20 in reverse, and having an average speed of 36. It's not the fastest. Vehicles like the 62A do have a better power-to-weight ratio, but it's also not the slowest. If we make our way over to Armor Inspector, this is the T22 Medium's turret. It is incredibly thick. Those cupolas that show up in-game, in fact, if I pull up the game really quick, these cupolas that are right here, those are not actually weak spots. We had a bit of a discussion with this on my live stream, and people said they've penned it. You really haven't. Those don't exist. Neither of those roof spots are actually a weakness. We can look on Armor Inspector here. They don't exist. Yes, there is a weakness on the roof. It's about 170 right there, but that's obviously not the part that protrudes on the top of it. it's a little bit lower down. So no, it does not have cupolas, especially if you're using your gun depression. Those are basically non-existent. So the turret itself, even if you're using heat shells from a Progetto, is very hard to cut through. It's 500, 400 millimeters thick. Even vehicles like a Hori are going to struggle to penetrate a T-22 medium's turret. It's ridiculously strong. The only weak spot is the tiny, tiny little nudges next to the turret, which are about 270 thick. But if you're wiggling this turret back and forth, that is quite a hard shot to hit. In fact, it's just basically impossible. Hull down, that upper plate is impenetrable to any AP or APCR ammunition because it's over a 72-degree angle, so you gotta load heat. Even with heat, that upper plate is still about 300 millimeters thick. Again, it's just stupid how much armor the T-22 has. This little spot here can be a weak spot, but it's also very tricky to hit. It's super small, and if it's moving very quickly, that can be a pain to shoot at. And then we come to the side armor. You can see that the T-22 medium has a triangular hull, and what that means is that the sides are extremely well angled. In fact, at an angle like this, it's going to ricochet any AP and APCR shells because it's more than a 72-degree angle, which will ricochet any shells automatically. So yeah, you can keep going, you can keep going, you can keep going, and I mean, yeah, that's pretty insane. How much you can angle the tank 35 degrees and still bounce a tier 10 medium running Cali. Now, if you're running heat, you can penetrate the sides because heat obviously cuts through that. But it also has spaced armor everywhere. This bar here is spaced armor. The tracks are completely spaced. Another thing about the T-22 medium is that it has no front track spot. That's actually a weakness because, as you can see, the track wheels don't connect. Normally, just for a good comparison here, like the 62A, you can shoot through the track wheel tracking the tank. Yeah, that doesn't happen for the T-22. So this vehicle's just stupid. It really has no weakness frontally, apart from, I guess, like, if you actually aim in. But if you compare the armor on this tank to really any other tier 10 medium, it's just got every advantage over the others. So let's pull up the windows so there's no borders on it. And yeah, let's see what the T-22 medium can do in this battle. Now, as I said, this was the only battle I've played in the tank today. And yeah, I thought we'd see how it went. So the enemy team has some pretty strong vehicles. They got a 57 Heavy, IS-7, TVP. Now the enemy TVP kind of screws his team over, I'll be honest. I mean, he probably wouldn't do a great job fighting a T-22 anyway because it is such a strong tank. But yeah, that guy still kind of screwed his team. So what I'm going to do is the same thing I always do. I'm going to push straight into this bush, and I'm going to try and spot vehicles that cross past base B. You're going to watch that happen right now. We're going to try and spot, hello, is anybody there? I'm not seeing anything yet. Looks like the TVP and IS-7 were fast enough to get across, which does make sense. As we went over, the power to weight on this tank is not amazing, but there you go. Nice snap into the enemy E50 for already 295. Then I put on my adrenaline, tried hitting him in the track wheel, but he just turned his tank at the last moment. But that's still about 600 hit points. We got off that guy, and boom, there's another shell. 900 hit points of damage within the first minute of this battle. And there's the E50 still trying to get a shell on his vehicle. Come on, dude, you want to do it? Boom! Tracked him again. The E50 has now been slowed down. He repairs his track, but uh-oh, again! There we go. 1,620 hit points of damage in, no joke, the first minute of the battle. I mean, that's insane. That just shows you how quickly this vehicle can rack up damage. Now, I'll be honest, the 62A, the Object 140, and the Object 907 would have been able to get damage out just as quickly in that battle, but it still lets you see where the DPM on this tank is insane. Now, that 183, because it has absolutely terrible camo, as it is a 183, I was able to spot through the bush, thank God, because I was not going to drive up there. If I had, I probably would have been shot in the back for maybe 1,000, or even if I'm unlucky, a Hess shell, which could have possibly even ammo racked me, as the T-22 medium does have a very, very poor ammo rack shoved right on the side of the vehicle. But we're doing good. We're already at 1,600 damage, so I can just kind of take the rest of this game quite easy. We could easily get 3,000 off of that T-57 Heavy. They're already down 2 Tier 9 vehicles, but we are down a Super Conqueror as well, so it's not like our team is doing fantastic. I'm being cautious, being careful, calm, and collected. I want to push off to the side so I can't get hit by that 183, and we're going to see if I can get some shells into this 57 Heavy. There you go. There's one nice shot, and wiggling, wiggling, boom, nice shell into the side of my tank. Trying to wiggle again, but nope, he pens me right through the hull. You can see I'm wiggling, and yeah, he goes through the sides again. So obviously, you can overmatch the sides in this tank. It's not incredibly thick, but I always try to show my sides more than my front because at least the sides are very troll, where the front isn't. The 183 and Conway miss with me, and because I've got a much better reload than the Conway and 183, I'm obviously going to get some nice shells out. Backing up. Boom. Another nice shot into that Conway's lower plate. And with that, we're at 3,516 damage. I'm side scraping the vehicle, wiggling, wiggling, wiggling. And yep, there you go. There's the ridiculous sides on the T22. Getting me another bounce. Going to shoot him in the track wheel, locking him in place. And with that, looks like we're going to finish this poor soul off. Boom! Thank you for your hit points. Now, I noticed that the Vickers CR was going to head over to the 183, so I'm not going to waste my time with that guy. We're going to see if I can get a shell into this TVP. There you go. Nice tap on the move. We're now at 4,400 damage, and we've blocked over 1,000. I mean, you can see where the T22 is great. It has no weakness. One of the major things I always say is that if a tank has no weakness, it is an incredibly strong vehicle. And that is 100% the case for the T22. It really has no weakness. I mean, it doesn't have weakness on the side armor. Its track wheel's not a wig exposure. It's got enough DPM. It's got enough accuracy, and it's got plenty of pen. I mean, what more do you need on this vehicle? It's just stupid. So there you go. Nice shot into the the IS-7. And there you go. That's a win. 5,294 damage. And oh, wait, there's one more vehicle. Are we going to be able to get a shell out onto this TVP? Well, we're going to find out. Kaboom! There you go. Finished him off because my Vickers, I think, missed the shot. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was my only battle in the T22 like this month. We did 5,512 damage, got 208,000 credits, and as well pulled out a mastery. This is definitely a super, super strong vehicle. I wouldn't say it's the strongest anymore. As I said before, I think that a vehicle like an E50M, an Object 907, other super strong mediums can do a very comparable job to this tank. But I will definitely say that the T22 medium is up there as still one of those more overpowered vehicles. Just everything kind of goes well for it. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. You enjoyed this little mini review. And if you'd like to see more like it, let me know in the comments. But I thought I'd give you guys a little spotlight if you did manage to get your hands on this vehicle. Other than that, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.